Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton. Today's date's the 11th of August 2025. I'm the narrator of this video clip and every other video clip on my YouTube channel. I just want to, for those that are new on board, my YouTube channel is actually an official exhibit for my court cases, and it's also my personal property. So is my Facebook page. Both of my social media platform are actually exhibited video clips for my court cases. Okay, for those that are new on board, my YouTube channel is basically about me. It's about my identity, my entity, my ideas, my intellectual property, the life of a person, my life, and anything that's tangible property that belongs to me, and my personal existence. It's also linking to my court cases of facts. My court case has been pending and going for 9 years illegally, obviously because of the New Age system. So I'm a witness to it, and I'm still at it at the moment. But this video clip I'm going to update you with my current court cases. I know everyone is watching. So it is a global game. That is what they've used me for, and so they've used me for relationship scams, and that's quite clear. I am self-representing myself here in my country. Our New Zealand laws allow it, and it's just a matter of being able to, just do the usual formality and go through the court processes for the documents to be filed with the courts, and you can only really represent yourself if it's to do with you as an individual and anything to do with your own property. So in this case, I am the legal litigation. I do everything. It's too early in the morning, but anyways, so I am representing myself since I started with this court case in 2016. So at the moment we're dealing with Independent Police Conduct Authority case and New Zealand Police. They're both jointly charged. So I'm just keeping everyone up to date with the evidence and keeping the actual case alive. And so I'll just continue with the usual introduction before I actually go on to what's actually I'm going to be disclosing today. Okay, the unfortunate reality is I have been used like a human sacrifice, animated or inanimate is what it's called. For those that don't know what it means the opposing allies have used substitutes, and they've just taken turns using me after years of doing illegal scientific experiment. As what I mean by that, where they've studied me recording unlawfully, basically pinned down, and then steal my energy, steal my work. And then I've had different people use me and switching and stealing secretly. However, unfortunately, the reality is when things like that happens to any individual, it is a crime. It's a breach. It's treason, especially to use somebody like a product or to promote other people. So it's a very serious criminal case, especially if you can prove that the judgments made also links to the game, and it's also fraud. Okay, for those who've been watching, clearly I've been used for relationship scams. Okay, and historically, if you've watched all the other video clips, I'm just continuing with that. That is still happening at this point in time. Nothing has changed as far as Henry Cavill and myself's relationship. However, I just know that I'm meant to be doing this. Is like it's just pure evidence of a cycle that's repeated itself going back to 2008 when the privacy breaches took place within my personal life and personal space while I was working for my employer, the Ministry of Justice. At that point in time, I was working as a court deputy registrar. So the whole, I didn't realise it was a game. A lot of it in the beginning, in the early years, I didn't understand what I was going through. I just knew something wasn't right and something was very wrong. And I didn't know what to do about it. I just knew it wasn't a safe environment. But these people are gradually stealing and just using the relationship scam or using another substitute to do what they're doing intimately. So the intimacy is so wrong. However, it can now be proven in the court of law. As far as Henry Cavill and myself, we're still together. So I'm denouncing, any secret video clips out there. No, he is not with Natalie Visciso. This is all the part of the advanced illusion where the originals are being used and then they're pinned down while other people are stealing secretly. I can actually prove now in the court of law that's what's been happening to me while I was working for my employer. So it's a very serious case, but the evidence is very clear. Okay, so I'm just going to continue. Okay, so actually, personally, I believe this is the 666 system, okay, that the actual Bible talks about because of my personal experience about it. So the system itself was already predicted. If you know your Bible, for those that are Christians, this is my personal experience and my interpretation of what I believe the 666 system is what I've been used for. It's to do with all the middleman things in the middle. So they've studied me for years, like literally pinned themselves to my soul, basically. They dug up turned my life upside down, and they've actually secretly coded me. Okay, the coding is very clear. It also means privacy invasion is gone. So I'm an exploited person, but the system is so illegal because the whole intention is to it's a sneaky way of the enemy or the devil to actually take over somebody's personal life, personal territory. It's actually home invasion. It's actually a diversion of the system has actually diverted. It's just a matter of me of actually proving it, but because it is my life, it is about me. It's easy for me to undo, and that's the clear evidence that is on my personal property, my profile. So I've been secretly coded, and that is what is showing up in the evidence, and me having to actually expose the system. The secret societies, what they're doing, they are cheating, and they are using the misuse of devices, coding globally. So it's very dangerous and serious for anybody and everybody. The whole idea of the game is to keep everything like a joke. So whoever's behind this game, I'm sorry, but you've got a very warped mind. You're a very sick personality. Okay, I'm a straightforward person. I'm a Christian, and I'm just one of these people. I don't play games with people's liberty. I don't actually get pleasure out watching somebody suffer or anything like that. There's two types of suffering. There's suffering for doing what's right, and then there's suffering for doing what's wrong. But the whole game involves, they call it crackerjack. Okay, everything within the victim's environment is already set up to steal. Okay, they've changed the system where they're getting different people where they can actually think just because they've got a law degree they can represent the person without their consent. That's still illegal, even though it's set the new legislation is actually set out to allow other people to secretly represent them without them knowing, but that's still illegal unless a person has actually consented. It's illegal, and I have not consented for anyone to secretly represent me. But yeah, so unfortunately it links to the unlawful strikes, the judgments that I have made on my personal profile, and that is what I'm challenging, and I can actually prove it's fraud. But everything is not true, okay? Like, it's maybe partly true, but it's not actually true. So basically, it's my truth versus the this illegal global game that I have actually been used for historically. Yeah. So just watch all my other videos for those that are into criminology. It's quite clear how it works if you are into criminology or into the criminal scene. Yeah, so unfortunately some people are, that's not everyone's truth, there's somebody else's truth. So I have found, unfortunately, in my personal experiences, some people are pathological liars, okay? Their truth is their truth. They don't care about what other people's truth is. However, this is my truth. I don't make it a habit to lie or anything like that, not when it comes to serious things like what I'm going through. Okay, guys, so it is the new age system, okay? This is how it is out in the world. It is money laundering. It is a Ponzi scheme, call it what you want, but this is all our new age system linking to our government system and how it works. Okay, so I've actually been denouncing video clips on our government when they do what they do, because I know they're talking about me, but it's actually causing me a lot of havoc in my life, where people are secretly sabotaging me in my space, making things a living hell, but that can actually be proven. Unfortunately, they've set themselves up and they are actually in trouble, but this is I have the right to stand against the opposing allies and what's causing me not to be able to go forward, and what is life-threatening to me as the victim. So I'm dealing with my personal property, and I'm currently working on that with my court cases. So that, for those that are new on board, this is the new age system. It's a global game, makes it even more serious, especially when victims are oblivious. I know many cultures and many people, many different states, they mind their own business, are good citizens minding their own business, but they don't even realize it, that a single breach can actually cause an invasion where people can secretly steal off you without you even realizing it, and if you do realize, it's too late and you don't know what to do. Alright, so this here is my court case. It goes back to 2006. This is the evidence. The names of these people are all part of the evidence of my court case in the moment. Okay, this is like in my work environment, but there's a very likelihood that there are other people, in between all this, or behind all this, what I'm going through, but these are the people in the moment that I was working with in the moment. So the evidence on the protected disclosure goes back from 2006 right up to when they rode me out of my job. and they medically terminated my my employment for the purpose as a cover-up. That is quite clear in my personal property. However, that was sorted out on the 6th of, just trying to think of the date, sorry. I think it's 6th of May 2016, and that medical terminated decision was cancelled and I resigned. I did wanted my job back at that time, but they wouldn't give my job back to me. It was quite clear they wanted to get rid of me. But in saying that, the employment environment was serious, was very serious. It should never have happened, but it did. And yeah, so I'm just going to continue. But the case that I'm focusing on today is IPCA, Independent Police Conduct Authority. Okay, people in my kind of work field when I was working for the government are very private people, okay? I mean, when you do work for the government, we all have a private life, and then we've all got our work life, and we've all got, we all got obligations and stuff like that. But I'm more a private person. I've always been a private person. I still prefer to be private. I've only gone public because of my court case and the seriousness of it. That was just something I've had to do. But I am definitely an exploited victim because of many breaches, and it's been a crisis for me because of the personal, intimate persecution, emotional persecution, and just being exiled, feeling exiled and isolated. And the interference is very real. It's so intimate, it's wrong. Okay, we're dealing with a sadistic spirit. Spiritually speaking, it's an evil spirit. It's a negative spirit, but criminally it's called a serious violent offences. This is also organised crimes, okay? And it derives from other people getting a kick out of other people's pain and sufferings, okay? So it is heinous hate crimes. It's very, very personal, but unfortunately, if it's ignored, it's very serious, okay? There's natural justice is not, that's gone out as far as the courts are concerned, because everyone's involved in it, or one way or another. And then organised crime, it's all in the middle, the in-between. So it's so serious because it's a global game, and people are actually moved by the coding, okay? So they can easily do hit and runs. People are being hired just to do the damage and then leave the job in advance so they won't get caught. That is my personal experience, what I have witnessed in the moment. It is an illegal Commonwealth public scams and games, and other people are actually secretly stealing other people's ideas, or they can steal basically anything just because it's because it's of the global, the misuse of devices, and they're using their vehicles. So yeah. Okay, so in the criminal courts, it's home invasion, okay, espionage. There are several co-offenders, okay, it's a global game. So, with the right people investigate, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you're linked to a conspiracy involving, if the evidence can show of your participation of initiating a conspiracy where it's ruining other people's relationships or damaging their property or their reputation, or there's some massive loss, or you've stolen and it's linked to you, anything, criminal charges can be laid whether you're outside New Zealand or inside New Zealand. So obviously, if your whole environment is contaminated by people with the same spirit, of course you're going to get an environment that is sadistic and mean, mean people just wanting just to destroy and make things difficult. That's my personal experience. But yeah, it's very serious. The whole idea of this system is to eliminate people and dehumanize me. And so I have a very strong case against the perpetrators involved. Okay, so these are all it's a trafficking in persons case. It's so intimate, it's so personal, it's wrong. But the penalty is 20 years imprisonment. Okay, and the fine is $500,000. However, I've actually sued every body corporate in my case $10 million according to the legislation under another Crimes Act because my case falls in that category. Not every single case like mine will fall in that category because you've got to actually prove it as an historical problem and or issue where there's clear evidence. They've used me for these kind of things as a trafficking in persons. That has a penalty of 20 years, and you can take body corporates for this kind of you can sue them for this kind of charges, or individuals. Okay, so they call it the robot system. Okay, it's so illegal. So they're basically stealing anything positive. Obviously, I'm an honest person. I'm a person of integrity. With that kind of role, what I used to do when I was working for the government, corruption is not. That's just something that's a serious thing when a system diverts from corruption. From integrity to corruption, and unfortunately, I can prove that in the moment now with my criminal case. But mens rea comes into this, like they're already guilty, so it's a matter of me actually proving that to the courts. So basically what they've done is something like this. They're actually glued to me, they're recording me, they're stealing all my data, my personality, and then another person is being used secretly to steal or live my life. And that's exactly what the Hollywood, like Natalie Vasquiso system. I'm still denouncing her and her pastor boyfriend and all the lies that's going on about Henry Cavill is not with her, not even today. He doesn't. He's just like me. He doesn't. Once he's over with an ex, it's over. Even when we met at that point of time, everything was just work. But as we know, some exes cannot let go. They still want to have, try and get their ex back. And but my case is not crimes of passion, although that is involved. Okay, these people are using their jobs, and I'm standing against it because it's all linking to my court case. Okay, there's clear evidence. I've been used for money laundering historically. People are using me for money laundering historically, or have done. So I am denouncing or anything out there. Henry is not talking to anybody publicly. He's not even working. Okay, he's not working at this point in time. He's being very private. He's not on any social media. He's not on Facebook. He's not on TikTok. And all the videos that's floating around about Henry doing all this, it's actually an imposter. Okay, his Hollywood life, now that I understand it a lot more, when he was an actor, his whole Hollywood culture is he has a management, his PR, so there's a middleman system, and they actually run and control everything from my understanding. So I see a massive downfall that he's actually been used, and then he's lost everything because of he hasn't really, but he has to some extent, but that's something he's going to deal with legally in his own time. So I am denouncing Natalie Visciso and all her lies. Everything that I have put on Facebook is the truth. Even when we were together, going back in the early months of going up to 6 months before our privacy was actually, when they realised we were actually communicating, they put 1, 2 and 1 together, and then they intimately interfered. Everything was a setup. He wasn't even with her. It was all just set up by the PR management. Although the video clips on the surface looks like, that they were together. But some of the video clips are being republished. Okay, they're the old videos made current. So these are all the kind of things that were, something for the expert to look at as far as, old videos being made current. Also, in my personal experience, I've had people use the government letterheads and retyped legal documents, and I can actually prove that. So that's a very serious thing to do, but these are all the things that I have discovered in the moment to do with my personal property or anything to do with me. Okay guys, so I'm going to be talking about the New Zealand Police and IPCA case. So these two body corporates are both jointly charged or jointly joined in this case. It's not a criminal case yet, it's still in the civil jurisdiction. So my concern about how my case has been handled and the reason why it's gone on for so long, because obviously there's been like a I'd say there's third party plus. Okay, in my case, it's been a pin down situation, and people have been using the misuse of devices to hack, to do proxy hacking. If you don't know what proxy hacking is, they can actually hack into your private life just by misuse of devices, listening and hacking through the Wi-Fi. These are all my personal experiences of what I've gone through, and this is how they're actually cheating. So I got this email here from someone from the courts. Okay, I have not been happy the way they've treated my case. So this guy here is a scheduler. Okay, so what I have also found, what they've used me for, they've kind of like an AVL system. Okay, so I'm doing all the work and it's been diverted to somebody else. That's what they've used me for. Okay, it's an insult, to be totally honest. And I'm furious about what they've done to me historically, so I'm not going to give up and I'll just go with it. As far as I know, when you work for the government, the confidentiality of a case is meant to be for both parties. The whole reason is so that the case is not being prejudiced or biased. Okay, so a scheduler here this guy sent out an email, okay, on the 28th of July, and he kind of wanted to know or to confirm the hearing date. So I'm going to be disclosing that the hearing date is on the 8th of September 2025, okay, because this is going to be a global game, and it's been a global game to everyone else. I have not found what I've gone through as funny. Okay, nothing about what everyone's done to me is funny. But I had a problem with him sending out an email. If you can notice, he sent out an email to Karen Ferris and to these people, if you can see them here, for IPCA. Okay, this person is the scheduler. Okay, so the body corporate in this case, he is in my case, they are the defendant. I'm the plaintiff. Okay, so you can see clearly right here that they're actually trading in influence. Okay, they're helping each other. And for those that know, the offender, they're actually the defendants. They named the defendants in my case because I've alleged that they've actually committed a crime. Okay, so the civil jurisdiction, it gives the other party the opportunity to sort out, like, I'm actually sued them first. And when you've worked for the government, this is the format you go through first, okay? They call you, if you stand up against corruption, they call it a whistleblower. So a whistleblower is not a person that's actually committed a crime, so get that in your head, everyone. A whistleblower is a person that's actually a person of integrity who doesn't agree with the corruption, has witnessed something that is very wrong, and they're standing up against it. However, other cultures, to them they've taken they're using their own personal beliefs and warring against real honest civilians who are actually their victims, and standing up against corruption within the organisation. So get that clear. I am actually not the defendant. I'm actually the victim according to the laws and according to the cause of action caused by internal corruption and the decisions made by people. However, what I am going to deal with is the secret breaches committed by the opposing allies. Like, clearly you can see, okay, IPCA is a completely different agency or a different entity according to the laws, even though they work together under the same umbrella. According to the laws, their job descriptions are all different, okay? So even though this person works for the Ministry of Justice, his job description is, according to what he's sending out, he is a scheduler, okay? So how did he know who were the other parties in my case? But he sent the email out to myself and to all these other people involved in the case, okay? So he sent it to, let's see, because all these are breaches, okay? And this is all a privacy breach. It's illegal, and this is what I'm finding also with Work and Income and any other agencies. They're all secretly, in confidence they call it, but they're actually secretly tipping each other off and then inciting, and from my point of view, waiting for somebody to murder me, okay? So I try not to be angry, but this is my personal experience. So as far as the law is concerned, this person here who works for the Ministry of Justice, okay, obviously, because they have different people for everything, but he has contacted the other party and myself and wanted to confirm, keeping in mind they've coded me, and then they're also letting the public know, okay? That is so serious. That is very serious, and I just actually directed him to the team leader, okay? I didn't even want to tell him who is the actual case officer, because trying to protect the case, and because it's actually got nothing to do with him. The case itself has nothing to do with this person. The case officer in the case is the only person is meant to case manage their case, but they've used different people for my case every time, okay? So that is called a breach, and that is also called trading in influence. I'll just carry on. Okay, I know I've already mentioned this, but I'm keeping the evidence in the moment, and I'm going to show a bit more evidence in this video clip and where we're at with this case. So IPCA has changed councils from Karen Ferris and to a new council, Sean McCusker, okay? And so he's come on board, and IPCA, we've all got courts, rules, protocols and regulation that every party has to abide to. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter who you are as a party, whether you're the defendant or the plaintiff, you have to abide to the court rules, because that is what why we have court rules and laws, because that is what will be audited on, and that is what the judges will make decisions on based on the court rules and laws and evidence. Okay, so IPCA in this case and New Zealand Police have not had any evidence against me. Okay, if anything, everything I've submitted to them has been pure hardcore evidence of serious wrongdoings, of documentations. It is as it is. I'll just carry on. Just going to go on this part here. Right. Just bear with me, okay? I just need to find something. Okay. Sorry guys, I forgot to turn it off, so sorry about that. I just had to try and find the memo which I found, so sorry about that little bit of I forgot to turn off the video while I was looking for it, but anyway I found it. Here I put in a memo, plaintiff's memorandum in response to counsel's memorandum as change of representation and address for service and other dated 10th of July 2025. So the other thing I'm finding also with this case, everyone, is the middleman thing. So I'm having people coming in my space and sabotaging me personally, so I'm actually glued. Okay, and then they're inciting or inciting on social media or TV. That is not fair. Okay, this is why, if you've all watched the film Avatar, this is why people's court cases are getting sabotaged. Okay, so they're already connected to somebody in the person's private life, and then everything can easily be done just through gossip, stalking and gossip. Okay. So I have found that people have actually retyped my documents, or the judges are not getting the documents. Okay, so they're sabotaging me in the middle. So I put a memo together. Okay, even though it's a case officer at the moment, I've addressed it not to the court deputy registrar. I've addressed it to the judge because it's a high profile case. Okay, a court deputy registrar only has certain powers, but because my case is a high profile case, it's supposed to go to the court judge. Okay, so I've done everything correctly. Yes, I'm old school, but these rules and the court's rules and regulation has not changed. Okay, so this is the normal proper formality of how it goes. We get these new people come on board, and they think they can do whatever they want, but you know, the laws and the rules and the court protocols are there for a reason. So if you can read what I've written, I've actually brought to the judge's attention of what I'm not happy about. So I've put everything in writing. Okay, and I know I've had to do this because sometimes when I'm in some of the hearings, I've got that feeling the judge has not even got anything I've written. For what I'm saying is that in between, okay, the courts are either damaging or destroying my documents. So anything that I submit to the court is my property. So anything documentation. So if the courts are destroying that, then they can be done for intentional damage. So it's a criminal case automatically. So if you'll probably read that, I hope you can see that. But basically, I've just brought it to this other council, this new council, the formalities of the courts also. And because now they've put in a statement of defence, so who do I send it to? Do I add the other council or not? She hasn't withdrawn according to the courts, okay? So now they've got a new council. He's put in a statement of defence, but he's admitted some of the facts and he hasn't admitted others. But however, I'm winning because he's already admitted it anyway. But then they also, the Crown, what is it? Here it is. See, the Crown, they have laws that they have to abide to. Like, even if you're a lawyer, they have laws that they have to actually abide to, and they can actually be disbarred just for breaking their own laws and the laws of the court, okay? So you can understand why they don't like old school people like me, but that is how a competent judge or a competent registrar would work. Okay, we're dealing with the integrity of the courts, or the integrity, that is what we want to, the foundation of the courts or government is integrity, not corruption. So basically I put this together. So I'm just putting this on social media because because this case has been going on for 9 years. Okay, that's so wrong. And my case is money. So the other danger for myself and, for those that don't understand the laws and what I'm going through, because my case is worth a lot of money, this new system is set out where other people can actually come and steal all this money that actually belongs to the victim and their families, okay? Like everything about me. It belongs to whoever. Like if I'd put out a will, then I could, that would go to whoever. But legally, by law, the government is obligated to make sure that, the victim gets it, or whoever gets it, and the victims, because it's an entitlement of a victim. Okay, that's how it works. So I also put to the attention to the courts and other memos that this case has had this many case officers, okay, different deputy registrars. This is not even including the people that serves me differently in the courts. They keep lying to me. They keep saying, oh, this person's away, or although, they're covering up, they're playing games and they're breaking the law. So this here is also really serious. Because they're just using different registrars or different court registrars on my case. I had a registrar who came on board on my case, and I've actually had to put in a complaint and ask them to remove her because I knew her, I worked with her, and she sabotaged my case in 2017, and now she wants to case manage my case. And it's like things like that. That's really important. Okay, that's been bias and prejudice. I mean, common sense is: do I want the same person who sabotaged my case going back when it was Judge Chalice's case to case manage this case? No, it's trading in influence. This is what they're doing, and it's so wrong. So I've actually put that memo. If you can all probably read it by now. To the judge. Now, the other thing I've had concerned about is that the judges are not responding to my memos. So that tells me that the courts are withholding information to the judge. Okay, that could be another reason why the judges are writing unlawful strikes. They're not giving the judge the actual evidence from the other party, and that is what they've done to me. Okay. Right, so I've also asked the courts to confirm if it's going to be the same judge, whether it's going to be Judge Sussex or not, because from my experience, what they've done to me, they've been using different judges and not letting me know. They're making excuses that the judge has got sick or whatever. Okay, keeping in mind Judge Sussex took 6 months to respond to the New Zealand police case, which was on the 30th of October 2024. Took 6 months for the judge to make a decision. That's too long for any decisions, for obvious reasons, okay? And I did win that case, and I've asked for the transcript, and she's declined it twice. But I'm still asking for the transcript if it's going to be a new judge. The other thing I have found with the transcripts is that I've complained about the transcripts is not that like they've been typing errors or stuff left out, or just things that I know I didn't say, and I've asked them to retype it and they're not responding, because we have that right to ask for that. Okay, that's not good. That's not good at all. So this here is my I've asked for a transcript again on this memo. I've asked it for several others, and this is where we're at, guys. Okay, so I've been working day and night to get my submission in. The judge had made a date for me to get a submission in on the 1st of August, if you can see right here, okay? And then the councils had to put in a submission by the 8th of August, okay? The councils did not do that. That was on a Friday, okay? But I had to do the scanning because of my privacy. The other thing I have found is when I go and post my documents, I know somebody in the middle is stealing my documents. I know, okay? Or documents missing, they're opening it. Because I'm very efficient. I know exactly what I put in there, but this is my experience of personally, people are secretly stealing my intellectual property for themselves, or they're sabotaging it because, you know, it's the opposing allies cheating. Okay, they're using their families and their friends and everything, okay? And they're listening to us using espionage. I mean, no, common sense says nobody can go forward in such a system. So the judge gave me until the 1st of August to make my submission. So I've done a submission. I've actually asked the judge to enter a summary judgment of liability because the councils don't have, you know, there's no case. And perjury usually means perjury's already been committed, and that's quite clear in the evidence. So to enter judgment of liability, there is no cost for that, okay, because the defendant is the defendant in the matter, which is the Crown, the state, okay. In saying that, the judge has also made a schedule for the Crown. See, here it says right here, IPCA is to file and serve any affidavit in reply by the 8th of August 2025. All right? So they didn't make submission. Okay? So in saying that, in my mind, I'm like, okay, the other council has not withdrawn. This new council's put in submission, and now they haven't responded. Okay, so now I've got till the 25th of August 2025 to make submission of whatever it is I want to make submission. So there's no application by the council, new council. So they may not even turn up to the hearing. The judge has scheduled a hearing for the 1st of September. But I've also asked the judge to make a judgment of liability on notice. Okay, there's no costs for a judgment of liability on notice. So the judge can make a judgment on notice even now, like tomorrow. Okay, I have actually sued IPCA according to the laws. Okay, and whatever is written on my statement of claim, the judge has two decisions to make: to sue them according to the legislation laws of what I have sued them for, or also on my statement of claim too. That's up to the judge to decide. However, it is a criminal case. So the judge can order it for it to go to the criminal. They can still get fined and still pay reparation either way. So IPCA, I don't know, they can try and make me happy by want to settle before the court hearing. And if I agree, that's the end of that, because we've settled outside of court. This is why we have civil, all right? But if they don't, and then we go to the hearing, then I can just present my case to the judge, and yeah, the judge can make an order. So this is where we're at right now, everyone. I'm just updating everyone that is watching. But there's a lot at stake here. I mean, this is like the liberty of a person. Okay, it's a criminal case. I've handled cases like mine in jury trials deposition. It's quite clear that people have used me like a sport. Okay, that is a very serious criminal case because it involves internal corruption. All right, and so yeah, so that is where we're at. Not only that, got to think about all the other innocent civilians linking to this case, especially if they're inciting. I have actually witnessed the defendants inciting, and then, you know, all their families and all their friends, gangs, you name it, it's all in the mix. So unfortunately, IPCA, I mean, going backwards, all the other corporate bodies, the PSA, they're all guilty. All of them. This people hierarchy. The CEOs are all guilty because they all knew about me, and yeah, they just ignored it. And so yeah, so I'll finish at that. So at this point in time, I'm working very hard putting my case together for this application, even though the councils have not turned up. They may not even, I mean, they haven't responded. Okay, the judges has not responded to the memo that I've submitted either. So I'm just going with it. So I'm just obeying the judge's schedule, and hopefully, yeah, we'll see some closure in my part. My intention is I am going to deal with all the other cases, but then, like I'm saying, anything can happen at this case. The judge can decide to deal with all of it. They have that authority. However, it is not even a civil case. I've been pretty concerned of some of the judgments I've read, of some of the case things that people are, you know, statement of claim that they're actually submitting against corporate bodies or agencies. I've been really concerned that they're actually criminal cases. They're not actually civil cases. They don't belong in civil. And, you know, that's a real concern, because civil judges do not have the capacity either intellectually. I'm saying that because it's a different field. Okay, I know because I've done jury trials depositions, which is actually indictable charges. And when I did the criminal summary, oh my gosh, it took me ages to get my head around it because it was a completely different jurisdiction. The same is for the judges. The civil judges do not have the same mentality or the same qualifications as for a judge, like a criminal judge. Okay, because the field is completely different. And one of the registrars did say to me, which, you know, she pointed out that what I've actually put on my statement of claim, I says, you know, it's actually criminal, it's not civil. I says, yeah, I did tell that to the court registrar at the time when I went to file it. It doesn't belong in civil, but this is the format, or, you know, the formality that I'm supposed to go through for it to go to the criminal. But yeah, so that is where we're at. Yeah, so I'll just, and only that, the other concern that I have found in my case is that I believe they've used me to change the laws to try and make it easy for what they've done. But what I'm for, you know, make it easy for this new age system globally to steal off innocent civilians is wrong. Okay, is so wrong. But yeah, I'm just going to go with it. I know I've already won, so I'll just go with it, and yeah, and I'll update you guys of the outcome. Anything can happen. A judge can make an order before the actual hearing date. You've got to keep in mind that other powerful people, other people with lots of money, they are on the side of the defendants. So, they're all conspiring secretly, which makes it very unsafe for the actual innocent civilians. This is why we have a government. They're meant to protect the innocent civilians, not the defendants. All right, guys. So, personally, this is what I've gone through, okay? It's so serious, okay? Okay, so this is also in the Crimes Act, where people are actually involving radioactive material, radioactive devices. So they've actually been, using songs, using ads, have coded me by words, letting everybody know about what I'm doing. It's also how they're also interfering intimately with relationship scams, okay? I've had other people come in my space, a criminal alliance already in my space, telling me to stay in my lane because of Henry Cavill, because they know that him and I are really close. But in saying that, they are breaking the law. The people in the middle are very serious criminal alliances, because they are already glued. I've gone out and they're waiting outside, or they've got, they're using their jobs, okay? And but it's such a serious system. It's illegal. Okay, so this here is actually from the Crimes Act. I've already gone through some of these laws with yous and the other. So if, it's really good to know knowledge. If you know your rights, if you know it's wrong, you won't do it either. So according to the law, you cannot be both. You cannot be the defendant or the victim. So in my case, the Crown is the defendant. The victim is classified as a vulnerable adult, okay? That is what the law says. You either, a child is a victim, but this here, I am the victim, okay? I'm supposed to get first priority over everything. Not your family members, not whether you get to like me or not your religious beliefs, or because that's what's happened. People are using their jobs for the wrong reasons. I have found other cultures and other religions have taken advantage of using me for themselves, but according to the law, I'm the vulnerable adult. I'm the victim. The victim gets first priority in everything. Not the defendants. Not your. Even if the defendants is your cousin, the defendant is your family, whatever. If they've broken the law, they've broken the law. So Henry Cavill, the real Henry Cavill, is also the victim, the vulnerable victim, okay? So I can also now charge every single body corporate for intentional damage. Okay, they've damaged my property. That's very easy to prove. Even the car accident in 2010, where I got a neck injury, that's a very serious thing, what they did to me, okay? And some people got it in their head that if you're a Christian, that you forgive. Yes, you forgive, but accountability still takes place. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I believe accountability needs to be done. That is so serious what they did. So intentional damage, it's a matter of just proving intentional damage. And what the courts have done with this case, definitely they've intentionally, recklessly damaged my personal property. I know that they've thrown away my documents because they hate me. Or the judges is not getting, it's all in the middle, personal, okay? So everyone's trading in influence, which is 7 years imprisonment. So that's easy to prove in my case, that people have been trading in influence. And no secret society has any right to represent anybody, okay? Privacy means privacy. It doesn't mean that they go and gossip and, get all their family and friends involved in something. They don't know anything about it. So serious. But this system is so serious that they can actually end people's bloodline. So I better leave it at that now, because I've gone over longer than I expected. Okay, this law is actually, I'll finish with this. Okay, this is actually used to be a law, but they've actually deleted it. Okay, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing in the moment, because I want the evidence in the moment to be accurate. But they have falsified everything, and I have found how important it is to make sure that that the evidence in the moment on the surface and also documentation wise is accurate, okay? Because in my case is a left behind case, and it is also trading of influence, is money laundering. There's a lot of money involved, obviously, okay, before and after the fact. So they've actually used me for that historically, which is wrong. Alright guys, sorry I've gone too long with this, but I'm quite sure you'll enjoy the information that contains on this clip. I'll keep you guys updated anyways.